It's been a long while since I've talked about a plant I really like, but I think it's about time we talk about one. I don't necessarily aim to be super negative all the time, but it's honestly easy to talk negatively about things. There's a lot of places to go, and a lot more detail to be said about something in a more negative light, often, than a positive one. Or maybe I'm just inherently super negative as a person. I'm not so sure. Anyways, this plant is a little boy called Tile Turnip. A fantastic plant, but it has become one of my favourites over the years. He's also very underrated, as a large chunk of player base tends to not see the value in this guy, often claiming that this plant is pretty weak, which is a real shame, considering it is definitely usable. It's also a plant that does seriously encourage some fantastic strategy, creates some super interesting scenarios, and just all around does everything I personally believe a plant should do. And soon enough, you may agree after this video. Maybe. I don't know. This is a plant I wish people would appreciate more, so let's see if we can get that to happen, eh? Tile Turnip is the last plant you unlock as part of our future, at least in vanilla. It is a turnip that drills into the ground to create tiles, as you do. Though this does mean you rarely actually see Tile Turnip itself, rather you'll see what it creates. As on placement, he will create a power tile. Power tiles connect to other tiles of the same colour, and when a plant is given plant food on one of these, it will spread to these other tiles. All tiles created by Tile Turnip will be purple, and will all connect together to spread plant food with each other. This will be spread after a short delay. The tiles that Turnip makes are only used by Tile Turnip and will not occur naturally. Tile Turnip's cost is unique. It will start at 0 sun, then after placing it, will increase to 250 sun. From this point onwards, the cost will double each time. So your second tile will cost 250 sun, your third will cost 500 sun, and the fourth will cost 1000 sun, and so forth. It's a very unique cost mechanic, as the only other plant which will change cost mid-game is Ultimato. Pretty neat. Also, I don't normally bring this up, but Tile Turnip's leveling is very strong. It only goes up to level 10, but levels will allow you to plant more tiles for totally free, and also decrease the multiplication of each additional tile, to the point that you can get infinite tiles for 100 sun each. I feel that if I don't bring this up, someone will get mad at me for some weird reason, so yeah. Turnip's leveling is especially insane and breaks crap hard. We will only consider this guy level 1 for the rest of this video, but if you're playing vanilla and have a little Tile Turnip, you have an insane level of abusability. Lucky you? Oh, and he can be used in any world. A lot of other plants aren't like this, so I feel need to clarify that, unlike Gold Leaf, this guy can be used anywhere. Let's carry on. There's not a whole lot to say about how this plant works, so let's cut to the more mechanical aspects of this guy, shall we? The obvious main benefit of Tile Turnip is that it allows the player to duplicate plant food to an extent. This is obviously a fairly useful trait, as plant food effects can be extremely valuable. To recap to those who don't know, plant food is a mechanic that allows you to give a huge boost to a plant. Some zombies will carry plant food, and you can use this on any plant you want, for some very unique plant effects, though it's usually fairly limited. Either way, the ability to duplicate plant food is an incredibly interesting one. It's an ability that no other plant really gets close to replicating. The closest would be Power Lily, which is a premium plant that produces plant food and placement. This isn't identical, though I feel like I should note that Power Lily and Tile Turnip are fantastic together, as the amount of value from tiles you can get gets big quick. Speaking of which, I want to bust a common misconception. A lot of people assume you need a lot of power tiles for Tile Turnip to be valuable. This is simply not the case. You don't need 5 power tiles to make things great. Just 2 can make a huge difference. Think of, say, activating Shrinking Violet and Wintermelon together, for instance. An absolutely screen-writing combination that can do wonders. Or Iceberg and Infinite to put the field on lockdown. Synergy is the name of the game, and something that is worth keeping in mind. Generally, this is a great way to use most instance plant food effects. A lot of them are shockingly good, some are incredibly silly, but these may be better than you think. Plants like Shrink, Iceberg, or Squash can have some incredible utility when placed on a tile, and can do absurd work under the right circumstance. It's easy to forget about these, but I strongly recommend you don't. Instances tend to have some of the strongest plant food effects, and especially with Tile Turnip, these can be incredible. You can also just spam offensives. Plants like Magni and Reed are great for this, as they have strong single target attacks that can spread across lanes and just offer visual flair. There's also a huge part of using Turnip. They just tend to create a pretty scene. And there's something just fun about this. I don't know. I rarely talk about the inherent fun in visuals, most because I don't believe it often, but I'll make an exception here. Because death lasers. 5 very large and very deadly rainbow death lasers. Come on. Anyways, while spamming power tiles can be fun, there is a hard limit. You're not going to be able to place more than 7, ever, but it's important to re-emphasize that just 2 is enough to totally shift the field. And it's not hard to get more than that, which is key to understanding how to use this guy properly. There's a ton of ways to use this plant. You just need to learn how to optimally use Plantfood and to time it well to make the most of Tile Turnip. In most cases in vanilla, you'll find yourself with a lot of opportunities to use Plantfood. I generally find a good piece of advice is to always save at least 1, and throughout the level, use Plantfood periodically to get the next one. This generally allows you to place your Plantfood throughout the level, and keeps the field on lockdown. Placing this equally makes it able to constantly trigger strong effects through the level, and is powerful. But, well, I have just covered how to make this strong and effective. Now let's go into the fun stuff. Why I believe Tile Turnip is actually fantastic and a well-designed plant. Let's go into what, makes a good plant, eh? What makes a good plant is, for the most part, very subjective. My definition of good, and the one I try to use throughout everything I make, is that a good plant is one that supports strong and varied strategy. Plants which tend to go against this, or don't add to strategy, are, to me, considered bad plants. This is definitely not a great way to approach every single plant, but it's consistent, and allows me to view plants in a way that allows me to make proper analysis. It also is just genuinely how I perceive plants. I'm in Plantfood Zombies for the strategy, not the casual, after all. I'm obviously going to prefer strong concepts over plants that people conventionally find fun. Anyways, I've already said Tile Turnip is incredibly unique, but this is important because plants like Tile Turnip develop the game in new ways. It's more than just being fun to use. They create strategy and expand options. That's special. Very special. And I want to show why, so let's get into it. Tile Turnip taps into a rarely used mechanic. Plantfood, while fairly important to the game, is rarely a crucial part of a plant. There are exceptions, obviously. Plants like cactus or shadowstrom come to mind where using Plantfood on is crucial, but these are the exception, not the rule. You aren't often picking plants because their Plantfood is good, you're bringing them because they're going to help you win. Plantfood, while super crucial to the game, is often just missing in terms of being a valuable mechanic beyond being a mid-game buff, and I feel this is a missed opportunity. Plants like Tile Turnip recontextualize that relationship. It makes Plantfood more powerful, but also far more customizable. No other plant does the same thing it does for the plants. It allows a player to make Plantfood its own thing in their own way. Do you want to play super defensively? Link Iceberg and Infinite together to shut the field down. Or make a line of Infinite shields. It's entirely down to you. Do you want to make a million sun? Link up a bunch of twin sunflowers and watch the sun stock up. Do you want to nuke the screen? Well, you already get it. Plants that do this are genuinely some of the things that keep EZ2 fun, and I appreciate it immensely. Strategy's fun, and the ability to make a plant your own in all ways is just great to me. Not every plant can do the same thing as Tile Turnip, nor should they, but if you plants that do this and can single-handedly create a strategy, well, those always add a lot to a good game, now don't they? Oh, and while this is relatively minor, just in general gaining a plant that allows you to use the world's gimmick in other worlds, after a world of learning how to use the mechanic, is just generally really fun. I wish other worlds did this too, but they don't really tend to. This does make sense. Most worlds can't make good use of it, but I could totally see some plants doing as well. Ice Bloom at the end of Frostbite Caves, for instance, could have been really interesting, as a plant that isn't good in its own world, but allows you to take a bit of that world elsewhere. This is technically done by Goldleaf, but it's locked to its world, and Goldleaf in general is super powerful and not really interesting. At least with power tiles, they are a temporary buff whenever active, which gold tiles are not. It takes a lot to nerf Goldleaf into a usable state, including changing gold tiles and just, in general, is not quite as clean. Either way, Tile Turnip isn't perfect. There is one big flaw with Tile Turnip, and it sucks so much that it exists, as it's core enough that it causes a ton of issues. I like to be fair, so let's cover the major issues. This may seem obvious, but there is one inherent flaw of Tile Turnip, And that is a fact, it does nothing unless you have plant food. This wouldn't be an issue, but, well, plant food as a mechanic isn't necessarily guaranteed. When staring at a seed select, you do not know if a level will even give you plant food. You don't know when, even, and this can pose a very real problem. Plant food is a mechanic that is entirely controlled by the level, and out of the player's control. There is no real way for the player to know in advance plant food is coming, if it's incoming, and how soon it will be coming. This is partially the value of plant food admittedly, but the inability to see how much plant food and how they are spaced can be a very real problem. If you bring Tile Turnip, you are taking a huge risk. You need to hope that, by the time you set them up, you have a plant food to use it. This isn't a huge issue in vanilla, you generally get a lot of plant food quite often, but mods rarely have the same situation. Levels and mods do not have a requirement to use plant food, so often they may not, or use plant food sparingly. In some other cases, mostly Eclise Alphas, plant food will be given after the main challenge is done, and you get so much that there isn't really a need to duplicate it. Often, Tile Turnip needs a player to get plant food fairly often, otherwise you are getting no value of a plant for a large chunk of a level. Especially considering the expenses involved with setting up Tile Turnip, it can pose a very real issue. Another issue, though far more minor, is that a lot of plants' plant food effects don't work well in stacked. Squashes will target the same few targets, a few plants have the ability of killing most zombies in a lane, and so forth. Exceptions are the rule, and these can be worked around, but some plants don't synergize great. There is also the small matter of Shadow Shroom to cover. Shadow Shroom is infamous for having an insane plant food effect. It is entirely capable of clearing the entire field, killing all normal enemies, dealing significant damage to special zombies, and just overall wrecking shop. There often isn't much need for Tile Turnip instead, as Shadow Shroom can also be used as a weaker chili bean before this, offering more support and working as a way to use plant food alone. Sure, it's less versatile, but it's so powerful that it's able to override the potential of other, similar plant food effects. This is just straight up unfortunate, but it isn't a deal breaker. In both cases, Tile Turnip is still usable. Just because a plant gets outclassed doesn't make it worthless. PZ2 is a casual game after all, but it's a big shame that these are issues. The bigger issue is the plant food thing obviously, but power leak does exist to offset it somewhat. And the issue of not knowing where plant food lies really only lasts for the first experience. If you play through a level again, you will likely have at least some understandings if Tile could be usable, and that's a nice compromise. At the end of the day, no plant can truly be perfect. Every plant will have its problems, and so you need to make sure you can see plants what they truly are. You should look at plants what they can add to a game, what they actually offer. Sometimes you need to look beyond the flaws they have on paper and see what the plant truly is. It takes a lot of time to learn how to do this, and I myself struggle with it often. But with this mindset, you can learn to appreciate plants you otherwise wouldn't, options you would overlook, and that's truly wonderful. In total, Tile Turnip is just well designed. It's a super neat plant and does basically everything right as far as a plant should to me. Fun mechanics, a reason to use them, an incredible variety of what it can do. It's what every plant should do, and Tile Turnip is absolutely a plant that does it right. It's a plant I wish more people would be able to understand, as its traits are just straight up fun. We generally need more plants like Tile Turnip. We need plants which take aspects of the game and twist them into something new. We need plants that can shift the field and can recontextualize mechanics. Plants that can do more than just fire peas fast. And Tile Turnip is a great plant for that reason, due to its unique mechanics that create something truly unique. On another note, it's fun to talk about plants more positively again. Out of curiosity, do you all prefer me to talk about plants in a positive light or a negative one? It's hard to tell honestly, so I'd rather just ask you directly. Easy for me. Either way, I hope you've learned to appreciate this plant, and we can happily close things off. Subscribers and crap, blah blah blah. Only like 2 people watch this video subscribe, so y'all should. This has been Creeps, and have a good one.